Winning Blueprint presents.
In the lab room, the market. Denver Broncos.
Welcome to the market. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the market, the NFL's one-stop shop for all positions related to the field. Also known as, and more commonly known as, free agency, where teams go to become better. The market. Everyone likes to shop, and all 32 of the National Football League teams will be in the market on March the 12th, sifting around free agents, looking to see which ones can help them be a better football team in the 2013 season. So today we're here to talk about a team that fell just short of doing some big things in the 2012 season. We're here to talk about the Denver Broncos. And they don't have a lot of things that they have to do in this offseason. Just a few. But again, when you don't win the Super Bowl, you have some problems and you need to address them. So we'll talk about the Denver Broncos today, what they need to do to become a better team, and how they need to go about doing that. And here with me is my comprehensive list of every NFL free agent on the market that's available in the 2013 offseason. And I'll be using that to help me talk about the Denver Broncos and who they need to acquire to help take that next step. And also, I'll be consulting my handy-dandy, trusty, big board. Every team in the National Football League is on this board, and I'll be consulting it when talking about the Denver Broncos to you about their notable free agents that they have up, positions of need, and also players that can help at those positions of need. So let's get right to it and talk Denver Broncos free agency as they take their trip to the market and try to become a better football team in 2013. So you look at the Denver Broncos, and we'll first start with their in-house free agents. These are all guys that are up for free agency on their roster, and I'm going to talk about them one by one as to whether the Broncos should bring them back or allow them to walk. And I'll also tell you if I think the Broncos are going to have them back or allow them to walk. So we're going to start with Keith Brooking. Then we'll move on to Ryan Clady, Dan Coping, Dustin Colquitt. Then you have Tracy Porter, Brandon Stokely, and lastly, Kevin Vickerson. So we'll start with Keith Brooking. And I was actually pleasantly surprised by Keith Brooking in the 2012 season. I thought after he left the Cowboys, he was done. I thought he was going to retire. I thought he was finished. But he actually played an integral part in the Broncos' success, especially stopping the run. The Broncos were one of the best defenses in the National Football League in the 2012 season. And a large part of that reason was because of guys like Keith Brooking doing their job. And he did it really well in the 2012 season. And if the Broncos aren't looking for younger labor, I say you bring Keith Brooking back because he got it done in the 2012 season. And if he still wants to come back and you feel like he can still play at a high level, you bring Keith Brooking back. It won't cost you that much. And he's a guy that was ultra productive for you in the 2012 season. Ryan Clady, you franchised him. So that's a done deal. He'll be back. You couldn't afford to let your left tackle walk away or test the market. He's back. That's a good thing for the Denver Broncos. Dan Coping, he was your center. He got injured toward the end of the season. He was a solid center for you. I don't see why you don't bring him back. The Broncos need him, and I think he's a good fit for that offensive line. You bring Dan Coping back. Dustin Colquitt. Didn't have to punt a lot. Anytime you're on a Peyton Manning-led team, you don't punt a lot. And so why spend a lot of money on a punter? He's solid. He gets the job done. Bring him back. Tracy Porter, gone. You got nothing out of him. He essentially did nothing for you. He was hurt all season long. Only played in 6 games. Only started in 4. Bye. Brandon Stokely, he's Peyton Manning's right-hand man. And they hooked up last year and created some beautiful music together. And they always have, always will. Bring him back. Bring Brandon Stokely back. Kevin Vickerson. Here's a defensive tackle that is solid. Not going to wow you with his play on the field. Not going to go above and beyond the call of duty. He's just solid. And that's okay. You need guys like him in your defensive tackle rotation. If you want to bring him back, by all means. If you feel like you can upgrade, go ahead and do that as well. I'm lukewarm and really indifferent on Kevin Vickerson because I feel like he's a guy that is interchangeable. You can get a guy not named Kevin Vickerson to do exactly what Kevin Vickerson did, or you could keep Kevin Vickerson and let him continue to do what Kevin Vickerson did in 2012. So I'm indifferent there. If you want to bring him back, by all means, knock yourself out. If you don't, I understand. So now we're talking about positions of need for the Denver Broncos. I have running back, wide receiver, cornerback, and defensive tackle. And I have running back in parentheses because I just don't know what to make of the Denver Broncos running back position. I mean, you got a lot of guys that do the same exact thing. And so, to me, Willis McGahee and Noshawn Moreno are the same back. One's just older than the other. But both of them play like they're 33 years old. And so, I think you just need to have one of those guys back. Whichever one you deem as being the best, have him back, cut the other one loose, and then get you a running back out of free agency. So I did take the liberty of naming a few backs that I think could help the Denver Broncos. They may not need any of them. They may decide to keep Noshawn Moreno and Willis McGahee. You know you already have Ronnie Hillman, and so I don't know what the Broncos are going to decide to do. But here are a few that could help you if you decide to go in a different direction. Reggie Bush is a guy that I think could help you tremendously. A guy out in space that you could toss the football to. You know, Peyton Manning can hand it to him as well. I just think that Reggie Bush would add a dimension to your offense that you lacked last season. A guy that could take it the distance from the running back position. Out wide. I think Reggie Bush adds a dimension to your team that you just lacked in 2012. Felix Jones is another guy that has a little bit of speed to burn that could help you out of the backfield. I don't know if he fits what you're trying to do offensively, but again, here's another running back that will be out on the market, won't cost you a lot of money, that could get you, a big play if he gets out of space. Danny Woodhead. I think that if you could get your hands on a guy like that, would add instant offense and instant explosion to your team. And so any guy like that, like a Danny Woodhead, that could come in and give you instant offense, I think is a plus for the Denver Broncos. I don't know if you're going to be able to wrestle him away from New England, but it's worth a shot. This guy could add instant offense to this Broncos passing attack that I felt like was already potent last season. You look at a guy like Rashard Mendenhall. Here's a guy that I think if you want to run the ball and you want a physical bruising running back and you want to swap him out for one of the guys you already have, Rashard Mendenhall could be the guy you're looking for. He's got a lot more speed than the two guys you have on your roster right now. And he does a lot of the same things that they do. So if you're looking for a replacement for one of the guys that you have in your backfield now, Rashard Mendenhall could be that guy. You also take a look at a guy like Peyton Hillis. You had your hands on him before. You know what he's about. If you want him back, why not? Or Sean Green. You're looking for a guy like Sean Green that can come in and help you out. Here's a guy that can run the football. He's tough between the tackles. I think he can be a solid running back for you in your backfield. He can take the place of McGahee or Moreno. If you're looking for an upgrade at the running back position, I think those guys can do the trick. So you look at wide receiver, and I feel like wide receiver is a need for the Broncos because what happens to you if Eric Decker goes down? What happens to you if Demaryius Thomas goes down for any extended period of time? What are you going to do? Put Matthew Willis in the game? You need another receiver. Let's face it. Stokely is getting up there in age. You need another receiver that you can rely on just in case of an emergency. And here are some guys that I think can help. Donnie Avery, Devery Henderson, Brandon Gibson, and David Nelson. These are all guys that are solid, won't cost you a lot of money, you won't have to break the bank for, that if one of your starting receivers go down, they can step in. And if you need another guy in that slot, they can step in and be a help there as well. And also a guy like Steve Smith out of St. Louis can help you out as well. So there are options there. It's not a dire need for the Denver Broncos, but I'm just saying, you just never know when something could occur, and you need to have a contingency plan in place, and one of these guys can help you out with that. Also, looking at the cornerback position, you got nothing out of Tracy Porter. That was a failed investment. And so now you need to replace some of your cornerbacks. Champ Bailey is getting up there in age. We saw that in the AFC divisional round of the playoffs. We saw Tony Carter blow coverage on that 70-yard touchdown pass to Jacoby Jones. You could use some cornerback help. And your corners were solid in the regular season, but they really did not play up to par in the playoffs. So while it's not a pressing need, it's one that you could address in the free agency period. And here are some guys that can help you. Mike Jenkins, Chris Houston, Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, E.J. Biggers, Derek Cox, and Anton Cason. Any one of those guys can help you out. Again, if I'm the Denver Broncos and I don't want to spend money somewhere, I wouldn't invest it in the cornerback position. I think if you're bringing Champ Bailey back, Tony Carter back, I think you're fine. You got guys out there that can play the cornerback position. You just have guys that can get it done. I think that Ravens game wasn't a great representation of how you've played all season long at the cornerback position, but that was on the biggest stage. Everyone saw it, and now it seems like a big pressing need. But if you want to address it with one of these corners, I think that's fine. But if you choose not to, I think that's fine as well. And defensive tackle, I think you could just use some more depth. That's all you're really looking to do. I don't really see that as being a overly huge need. But if Kevin Vickerson isn't back, you just need to address it with a guy like Roy Miller or someone like that that can come in and help you out. I don't think that's really a big need. Again, the Broncos were really good in 2012, and I think that you don't have that many pressing needs. And all the ones that you really have that are serious needs, if you don't address them in free agency, you can address it in the draft. It's really simple. The Broncos were a solid team in 2012, and so I don't think they have to go out of their way to be overly aggressive in free agency. Just do your due diligence. Take your trip around the market like everyone else. If you want to do some window shopping, by all means, doesn't hurt to browse. But again, you have money under the cap. You can be aggressive if you like. Test the waters. Go out. Sift through a few racks. See if there's anything that is to your liking that you need. You see a cornerback you like, throw it in the cart. You see a defensive tackle you need, throw him in the cart. You see a running back that could help, throw him in the cart. You see a receiver that can help, put him in the cart. Go to the register and check out. And that's going to do it for the Denver Broncos in the market.
Denver Broncos, the market.